First of all, I'd like to explain why the Schumann resonance graph spikes. The Schumann resonance graph represents the Earth's heartbeat. And when the Schumann resonance graph spikes, it is an indication that Gaia and the collective consciousness is energetically responding. Gaia and the collective consciousness is responding to the high frequency light that is flooding the earth plane through our sun, which acts as a portal. This high frequency light carries light codes, and individuals for many years, light workers, grid workers, gatekeepers, all forms of light workers, individuals who represent the light, who have set an intention individually and collectively in the form of the global meditations that you are aware of. So individuals coming together, unified in light, intending for there to be light on the earth plane, has allowed for the assistance to come in and ramp up. So now there is a lot of light flooding the earth plane that is carrying coding, that is assisting with the ascension of Gaia and the collective consciousness. So now when the light floods the earth plane, we anchor and ground the light into Gaia, into the grids. And this light flooding the earth plane makes its way down into the earth's core. And what takes place is the core of the earth is charged up by this high frequency light. And when it is charged to its full capacity, there is a power up, an overflow of light that makes its way back up through the earth. This is why on the Schumann resonance graph, what to pay attention to are the power up amplitude values. And these are the whiteouts, the white patches on the graph. Now usually when a wave of light comes in, the light is flooding the earth plane, there is a slight delay to when the Schumann resonance graph will reflect this. This can be within 24 hours all the way up to 3 days. It depends on how large the wave is, and waves of light also piggyback on one another. There is a build-up, but there is a slight delay to when the Schumann resonance graph reflects the light on the earth plane, because that's what it's doing. The 5D gamma rays, 5D gamma light, consciousness, those are the white patches on the graph. So the earth's core is charged up and there is an overflow of light. This is plasma. Now we know that plasma is a very high conductor of electricity on another level. So with all this light flooding the earth plane now, when it bursts through and there's a power up, the earth's grids light up. The ionosphere, the magnetosphere, the grids, the electromagnetic fields light up. It's almost as if the earth is getting shocked by a defibrillator. Thus the earth's heartbeat begins to race. And we see activity from this point on the Schumann resonance graph. Right now, I will go through, if you refer to my thumbnail, I have provided a graphical representation with color-coded descriptions pertaining to the graph. If you would like to refer to that with what I am speaking of now, this will assist you in understanding the Schumann resonance graph in terms of energy and spirituality. Now, when the high frequency light floods the earth plane, the frequency will go up. There are many readings on the Schumann resonance graph. There are many Schumann resonances. We're going to focus on the frequency and the amplitude. as this is what I've been guided to explain, and this is what stands out as important. So the high frequency light, we'll see a frequency spikes, they increase and decrease as the light is flooding the earth plane. Then when the earth's core is charged up, there is a power up in amplitude value. The largest spike in terms of amplitude value in the history of the Schumann resonance readings was on the 27th of February 2020, this year, where it reached a spike of 170. Now, there is a correlation. When the frequencies come in initially, there's an increase in frequency. When the power up comes in, we can see there's a direct correlation and the frequency drops. If you go to some of the websites, I'll include them in the comments below, you'll see that some of the experts in terms of science with the readings that they are giving you will show this, that the frequency, when it's increased, the amplitude's low, and then it's inverse, the other way around. When the Earth's core is charged up, the frequencies will drop and the amplitude picks up. And this is when we see the whiteouts on the graph, energetically reflecting the light that is flooding the earth plane. Now, let's look at the color schemes on the Schumann resonance graph. The blue coloring that you see represents homeostasis, calm. This is showing that over that time period, not much activity is taking place. It is relatively calm. Then you will notice there are green patches. These green patches on the graph represent 3D purge energy. So energies being purged and transmuted that are of a 3D density. So they are not that dense in nature, although some density is being released, and this is represented as the green patches. Then you'll see, usually next to where the whiteout patches are, the white patches, the stripes on the graph, you'll see red specks, red-orange coloring. These are the blockages, the density being released and transmuted, and this is more dense than the green patches. So the red is denser in terms of energy, thus blockages for Gaia. So within Gaia, the earth, it is reflecting that a power up has taken place, that energy is flowing, and now the red orange is reflecting blockages within Gaia that are being released. And the high frequency light and the power ups, the energy flowing, is assisting with this transmutation. So that's why it's around usually the white patches on the graph. So when I talk about density, if you think about liquid and a solid, so in terms of density, just for explanation, the green would be liquid, so it's not that dense. 3D consciousness, it's in liquid form. The blockages, the red, would be physicalized in a block, so it is more dense energetically than the green patches. And this is all wonderful. So whenever this happens, there's a release and a transmutation taking place, which is being reflected to us. Then you will see the white patches. The white patches are the 5D light coding, the 5D gamma waves of light being reflected on the Schumann resonance graph. And when these white patches come into play and are reflected, this is showing that the power up is taking place, that the energy is overflowing, that the grids, the electromagnetic field, everything is lighting up. And we are getting a shock. We are getting the upgrades. We are receiving the upgrades on a DNA level. We are receiving the coding on a collective level simultaneously with Gaia. So during these periods of time, okay, you'll usually feel it before, depending on your sensitivity, but during the white patches, individuals experience the ascension symptoms, and there is a purge that takes place because the Earth's grids, the collective consciousness is being wired, is lighting up. There are lightning discharges taking place. There's electricity. So we are being amplified. We are receiving the upgrades, the coding, the activations with our chakra energy centers, DNA. The channels open up. There is more light. These are the white patches on the graph. Then a new anomaly are the blackouts, the black patches on the graph, where for a period of time within these black patches, data is missing, the readings go offline. So what is happening is, and this is not the first time, as of yesterday, it happened 2 weeks prior to this, and also in 2019, and also in February 2020, this happened. If I'm correct in saying January or February, there was another blackout for 2 to 3 days. So the Schumann Resonance Graph, the readings have gone offline for 2 to 3 days before. This is an indication that the frequency of light, the lightning discharges, the electromagnetic field is expressing so much light in such a high frequency, and the amplitude is through the roof. Thus it causes satellites, technology, and electronics to go offline. The devices are knocked offline because there is so much light flooding the earth plane. There is so much electricity, and the technology is not used to these readings. It has never received readings like this before, and such a jump, a spike in amplitude, causes the disruption. If you'll notice, on my side, definitely, whenever a wave of light comes in, when I've talked about waves of light coming in that I report on, my Wi-Fi nearly every time slows down to a crawl. So it's definitely having an effect, not only with regards to the Schumann resonance technologies, but also our technology, so phones and Wi-Fi, the internet, everything. When light is flooding the earth plane, when we are ascending with Gaia in consciousness, when there is a big shift happening, there is a disruption with electronics, and we are seeing this. So we will see more blackouts in the future. So the blackouts also indicate a big shift. So when we're seeing the blackouts, that means there's a lot of light, the electromagnetic field is charged up, lightning discharges, there's electricity, and we are going through a very significant shift. So we see the black patches. And with this, the white patches and the black patches on the graph work hand in hand. When you see a blackout taking place or readings going offline for a period of time, it coincides with a whiteout. Okay, whiteout may be just before the blackout or the other way around, but very close together you will see a whiteout with a blackout. So pretty much it represents the same thing. So I'll run through it very quickly again. The blue, homeostasis, calm. There is calm, not much activity in terms of the response energetically at the moment, just yet. And the earth, Gaia, needs a breather in between light influxes, okay? Because it's all designed perfectly for what we can handle, what humanity can handle and Gaia can handle in terms of upgrades with high frequency light, the gamma rays flooding the earth plane. Blue, period of calm, homeostasis. Green, 3D purge energies, density. Red, orange, coloring on the graph. Blockages, density. More dense than the green is being released, transmuted. White patches, the gamma rays. White, gamma rays, light coding, upgrades, DNA activations. Blackout, same principle as the whiteouts. A lot of activity, a big shift taking place, the grids lighting up, lightning discharges, upgrades, activations, a very significant shift in consciousness. And the waves of light flooding the earth plane, the earth's core being charged up, grids lighting up, have a direct impact on humans' consciousness, on all living things, as an electric pulse is sent around planet Earth that has an impact on all living things down to a cellular level. So when we're seeing the whiteouts, when we're seeing activity, it is a very, very positive thing. It means that consciousness is booming, the energy is flowing, that we are ascending. So I hope this has helped. I've kept this all together. I haven't gone into too much detail to overcomplicate it. What I've been guided to and the questions I've been asked is to talk in terms of frequency and amplitude and the color coding. And it's a great way to monitor if you're experiencing the purge stages, if you're feeling the nausea, the extreme headaches, eye pressure, blurred vision, body aches and pains, vertigo sensations, like you're off balance, that you feel off planet. If your dream state opens up, you're having nightmares. If there's an increase in activity, know that there's a lot of light present. You are going through upgrades, and check in with the Schumann resonance, and you may find a correlation with what you're going through, represented on the Schumann Resonance Graph, that will indicate that the collective are also experiencing this great change. I hope this has helped. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic week. Goodbye for now.